I'm going to show you how to make a bath, it's not really, it could be a bath or shower scrub that is very, let's just put it as very Lilith approved, if you catch my drift. The ingredients sound weird, but they all have a purpose. So what you're going to need: sugar, that's your scrub. It's honey. I already put honey in here because, I don't want to get honey all over the place. At least the bare minimum olive oil. It doesn't have to be robust. It can be olive oil or any kind of oil for that matter, as long as you have like something that has vitamin E or just any kind of benefits to your skin, like coconut oil too. But because since we're going to be also focusing on using herbs and plants that have magical properties to them, of course I'm going to add the olive oil in for the skin foliant, but I'm also going to add avocado oil to it. As well, I'm going to be adding one of my personal Lilith oil mixes. And this already pre-made mix that I'll say what's in there and explain it when I start adding it. And really, that's really all you need to actually make it, and also you need something to stir it with, so I have these coffee straws. Then I decided to jump out of my hand. So, ideally you want to start with the honey at the bottom, or you can put the oil in first, it doesn't matter. But primarily, if you have the sugar on top and then the mixture on the bottom, or at least the very sticky stuff, that way you don't got to worry about making a hot mess. So, have sugar and honey in there already. Well, the sugar, at first, is actually rough enough that you can actually use it to scrub the whole mixture in. And of course, well, if you're going to be having the lovely Lilith be, how do I put this? You're bringing in Lilith into you. Don't you want to be kind of a little sweet? And you can be like a very gentle, it's going to be a bit of an overtop way of saying it, but it's like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, it's like cocaine. Now you're addicted to it. Oh, well. First thing I'm going to pour in is the olive oil. Again, olive oil is just like honey. It's a very good skin preservative. And honey, well, is sweet to the point where it's like, too sweet. But since I'm using olive oil and avocado oil, I'm not going to add too much olive oil to this. But primarily when you add it in, you want it to be able to be seeped into the sugar. So give or say about 1/3 of, because when you pour it in, you're going to see it just sit at the top. And then as you're adding everything in, you just got to be very ginger when you're kind of mushing it in and moving the sugar around so that way it gets absorbed and gets pulled down in there. But as you can see, I'm not putting the lid on and doing the crazy shake on it. I'm just moving it around very gingerly so that way it seeps into the sugar somewhat. Then next, the avocado oil. Now, avocado was used by the Egyptians, funny enough, for most of their skin and skincare routine and their sense of beauty, and also their hair. Well, if you're going to be having Lilith come around, you better make sure that you're looking on your A game all the time. Because she is very adamant on, look, love yourself for who you are, and if somebody doesn't like it, oh well, you're not the one with the problem. I mean, I'd be jealous too if I looked good and somebody was like, oh, you don't look so good. You're just jealous. Okay, and again, you're just squeezing it in very carefully. And really, technically, that's really all you need, but since I'm making this in the name of Lilith, I gotta make sure that it's up to par. But then again, whenever I make something for any divine being, I make sure it's at the top of its game. So, next ingredient is I'm adding my own Lilith mix to this. This thing, let me tell you, has kept the scent for ever since I began working with her. So we're going to add a little, I think about a few drops in there. And now I'm going to be adding this mix. It's by Eslex. It's called Touch. The ingredients are actually really fitting. They are the following: violet, rose, wild bluebell, basil, dark tea tree, and musk. So now why all those put together? Well, that smells like come hither and sit still in a very, very, a very seductress and temptress way. And since this is going to be mainly the scent, this one is probably going to be adding the most drops to it. I would say about 10 or so if you're only using a premix. But each one of these oils in there has a reason. Take it from the top. Violet. Well, violet. For one, it's a purple flower. It's small, but it is very deceptive. It is quite the powerhouse. And that's, in a way, how Lilith is. She at first was simple and small and just, nope, not dealing with it. But when the time came, she flipped and got her just the Xerxes put onto Adam. And technically God. Rose. Well, rose is a plant that adapts to whatever you're needing and lacking. Rose has that property to it. Now, bluebell, I can't remember which exactly this story or belief came from, but it was believed that with bluebells, they were used by fairies and fae to lure people into the woods and then trap them. Isn't that something like what a seductress would do? In the way of, okay, why don't we go over this way? A way that is actually going to get you somewhere and not, still be walked over all over. That lulling and then trapping yourself in a mindset and a state of being of like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to let this dickhead push me around anymore. Now I'm in my power for that mindset. Now, basil is actually one of the herbs that is very universal. So basil on top of rose can be the general idea of like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm prepared for any situation. And, well, Lilith being a crone goddess and not Not like an old hag, but put it this way. Put it in a way that, I'm a crone because I'm not new here. I've seen it all. I know how to make a, man point at me. I'm not new here. I know the tricks of the trade. That kind of a crone. Then we have a dark tea tree. Well, tea tree is known as a tree that gives an oil that is a very motherly medical energy to it. Dark tea tree. Dark goddess, dark mother. There you go. And then musk. Well, musk. Talk about. Looks like somebody's now in the mood. I'm going to add a few more drops because I just love how it smells. And I believe that's the gist of it. And if you want to add your own oils to this too, besides like if you don't have something as fancy as this mix, some herbs you can add to it that are good choices are lavender is a good one because lavenders are very good. Just relax, easy, and just go with it. It's a good lulling herb. So is jasmine. Jasmine's another phenomenal one to use. But if I had to pick between the two, jasmine. Because jasmine is more of a spiritually enlightened plant than lavender. Lavender is more of a. If you've seen Yu-Gi-Oh, lavender is like Maximilian Pegasus, like, hey, Yugi boy. While jasmine's just like, just chill, just chill. And that energy kind of fits with Lilith more, just like, shh, just calm down. That fits her more. Let's see, another one, Yangling, you can add to this too. Yangling's another good one. So is patchouli leaf. You can also add rosemary, because rosemary is that plant that is queen and doesn't put up with BS. Vanilla is another good one, because not only does vanilla also give that pull effect to it, it also empowers you at the same time too. That's another viable option. You can also add juniper berry, to, give the poor men who give a whiff off of you a good motivation to point with something. There was one more that I was trying to think of. Anyway, while I'm trying to think about it, I'm going to mix it all together. Now when you mix it all together, you just really just have to keep stuffing it around and just make sure you don't make a hot mess. Because, yeah, gotta keep it classy a little. There it is. You can also, if your skin can tolerate it, you can also add a little bit of clove, cassia, or anise anise oil to this. I would say probably the best one would be anise, because with anise oil, even though it was used by fishermen to attract fish to it, anise is a scent that heightens your senses. It makes your sensual awareness go up. And it's what actually gives black licorice the taste and the smell. And I don't know about you, but I love me some black licorice. And if you don't like black licorice, are you sure there's something not wrong with you? Nothing wrong with me. No, I'm just messing. But and also clove, you can also use that oil too. Clove is a very feisty, like, sit kind of a plant. And the scent of it too is kind of like a little bit of how Lilith was like when, she was, taking Adam out that time. Oh well. Should have just went with it. But oh well. Now it looks like he learned the hard way. And as for Cassia, you can use Cassia too, but again, it's very hot. If you're using it, make sure you don't use too much of it, because it is spicy. And cinnamon again, or Cassia in this case. Again, fits Lilith because she can get feisty if you make the wrong move. She'll just come at you like, oh, you think you're slick? Okay, alright, not a problem. Just, just remember what happened to Adam. Even though, he lived for a long time, but he kicked the bucket. Oops. That's what happens when you think you're slick, and you have to have God help you, and you can't try and negotiate. So seal it up like that. Then shake it up just a little bit, just to get everything all mixed up in there. Open it up. I can even smell it out of this thing. I have to say, this is probably something that you want to be very careful with. Because even though the avocado and the olive is quite potent in that, it's like that's the base, and it's just sitting there, then out of nowhere, this scent comes in and just grabs you. It actually does kind of, if there is a scent that kind of sounds like, that kind of smells like what, Adam being taken out by Lilith would have a scent. Like, oh, it's nice. Yeah. So, I'm going to add more of this to it because I like it strong, so what? But anyway. So really, this was at least my Lilith scrub mix. If you want to give this a shot, go ahead. And if you are fortunate enough to have someone get a whiff off of you and now they're following you around like a puppy, good job. Keep him on a leash and then tase him when he misbehaves. Hey, he's the one following you around and wants, whatever, so give it to him, but if he has to be consistent or he gets zapped. So, that is my Lilith body scrub recipe. Hope you enjoyed this kind of whimsical and comical mixture in the name of the lovely seductress Lilith. And if you make a mixture like this and give it a shot, tell me how it does. Comments below. And one last thing before I'm finished. I wanted to also show another piece that I made for Lilith. There's an owl amethyst. Then we have little little owl hematites in the middle. 2 onyxes, and then we go up the piece. We have rhodonite, rhodochrosite, rhodonite, and these, even though they're dyed tiger's eye, they're a magenta, red, violet. It's like these these ones are like her, pretty much those ones are like on every one of her pieces, and like kind of like my staple for her. And then we start going up, and then we have red jade, amethyst, back and forth, and then we get to another one of those big pieces right there. Again, we have labradorite, sugilite, and then we're topped with 2 pieces of blood red garnet. And funny enough, Lilith has the most pieces out of pretty much all the goddesses I have worked with. She has the most pieces at 4, 6, 7. yeah. But either way, I hope you found this amusing, and if you actually want me to make a mix for any kind of goddess, let me know in comments below, and then I'll see how on earth I'm going to make that ascent. And other than that, I think that's about it. So see you later.